Hi, this is going to be my final video for this class, talking about just a reflection of the entire course. So I believe that I've learned a lot from this course. I really didn't know that much at the beginning of the year. As I talked about, I had taken some Spanish courses and I took like the basic history courses in high school. So I knew some of the basics and I knew about some of the different indigenous groups, but I didn't know specific details about them. And then I knew about like the Spanish language, obviously, as I took that class. But besides that, I didn't really know a whole lot of in-depth material about Latin American history. So I think that this really helped me. The first thing that I think we kind of learned about was the different indigenous groups and their cultures that went with them. And I think that it was really interesting to dive into each of the different ones individually and see just how they functioned and like what time periods they happened during, because I didn't know that they like weren't all present at the same time. And I think the first documentary by Mel Gibson that we watched was really impactful to me because, well, first of all, I thought that it was an accurate but also not accurate depiction at the same time. It was really gruesome and portrayed some of the more like rough things that happened between indigenous groups and did a good job of that, but I do think it was a little bit exaggerated. But because it was exaggerated, it like caught my attention and I was really able to learn a message from it and like connected to what we were learning about the indigenous groups at the time. I also think that the book that we read really educated me a lot on the treatment of indigenous people during colonization time, during just like that whole time period, because I didn't, as I said before, know much about Latin American history. And also being from the United States, we don't really hear about our negative impact on these kinds of people. And so I think it kind of opened my eyes more to how we negatively affected these groups of people, rather than hearing like, oh, we went to their colonies and we like made everything better, we brought them technology and whatever. Like, I think it was good for me to hear about the indigenous perspective rather than an American perspective. I also thought that it was really interesting to learn that slavery didn't originate when we came to the territories. I had always just kind of assumed that when we came, we enslaved the people because we had never experienced people like them, or we needed like cheap work or something like that. So I thought it was really interesting that slavery was a concept that they were already utilizing there. And so we adopted it from things that were already happening in these territories. And then finally, for the last like week, talking about extractivism, I thought that that was really impactful to me as well, because obviously I know, being from the US, that we outsource resources from other countries because we don't have a lot of natural resources that we would need here, so we import stuff into the country. But because the indigenous groups' voices are always shut down, we don't really hear a lot, or I haven't really heard a lot before, about how badly these different things are affecting these groups and the people living in these countries now. So I think that it's interesting that like in the past, extractivism was causing that much harm, and that now it's still causing that amount of harm with the amount of like technology that we could utilize for it to not cause the amount of harm that it's causing. We're just not like putting it. For example, from my specific project, I really liked how the president was trying to get the people's opinions and was implementing them into his decisions to take back this extractivism project into their government's hands so that it would cause less harm to the people and just be better for the economy and the country in general. Thank you for helping me through this class, and bye.